it's all about balance. You know what I'm saying? Like, firstly, welcome back to the Ajay Patel show. My name is Ajay Patel. Firstly, I apologize for missing last week. That is my bad. But once I fill you in, I think you can get a better sense of what's been going on my side. And honestly, not big changes, but maybe something to look forward to, maybe something to inspire you, maybe something to scare you, probably some emotions coming out of this. So here we go. It finally happened. It finally happened. Last Friday, I woke up 6 a.m. Probably like about 5 a.m. actually. Sometimes when I wake up at these times, it's just like, okay, let's just get going. Like there's no point in going back to sleep, waking up groggy. This is a solid time to maybe get something done. You already have something you want to do, go do it. So 5 a.m. I scroll through my phone for about an hour, just being, a lazy bum on TikTok. I go outside and then I start working. I was working on a little project, 6 a.m. going through. And then, I'm just thinking like, wow, this is a great time. This is a great time. In the morning when no one else is awake, there's no distractions. It's not as hot. You can wear a hoodie and some shorts and, make some coffee, chill, hang out. It's a good time. And then I actually got back in bed. I put my laptop on my lap and I was just working from bed because, slowly getting back to sleep eventually. And then a meeting gets scheduled on my calendar. So it's about 7:30 and a meeting gets scheduled on my calendar for 8 a.m. And I immediately knew that this is that call. This is that call. The meeting was labeled organizational update. And anytime someone, labels a meeting like that and it's only two people in the meeting, it's probably getting updated. In addition to that, I have heard about this call, right? I have heard stories about, what happens. What's the sequence of events when this event occurs, right? What leads up to it? How does it go down? What eventually happens? So sure enough, I knew I was getting laid off. So 8 a.m. comes around and I take the meeting from the kitchen. I just put on my headphones, a hoodie, whatever. There's nothing to prepare for, right? There's nothing to really prepare for. It's coming. You already know what this meeting is. And I was thinking about messaging someone, just being like, hey, do you know what this is about? But corporate mandates, corporation, whatever. There are rules in place to make sure that like people that you report to don't answer any of your questions on the day of this happening. So sure enough, I take the call and it starts with like a director, the director of your group, and they'll give you like the rundown. They'll give you the initial rundown. So they give you, basically the script. They are reading off of a script directly. This guy has never really spoken to me in my life. He's never talked to me. Him and I have never communicated at all. Whether it's my fault, his fault, whatever, I'm not going to be talking a lot of shit in this podcast because it's like there's ways that these things come back to you. And as someone that's now looking for a job, I gotta keep a low key little profile. You know what I'm saying? So they're reading off of a script, and then just like that, the HR person's talking. The HR person start giving you the rundown, like, hey, you know what? Thank you for your time at the company. Oh, what did I do? Right? What did I say? What was my response to this script? Nothing at all. I literally was just it's more disrespectful to myself to start being like, oh, but why? Like, oh my gosh, I'm so upset. Yeah, thank you. I had a really enjoyable time here. Because it's all bullshit, right? It's all bullshit. You don't want to get laid off. Not effectively, right? Like, you didn't wake up being like, man, I really hope this happens today. And then also, I don't know you. If it would be one thing if you had a manager that like really had your back and then there was just something that came down from above that was like, hey, we got to get rid of that spot. And it's not even in their control. So then, yes, you are like, hey, you know what? Thank you so much, blah, 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 blah. And then you go on your way. There's no fighting it, right? The same way that NBA players argue foul calls, you can argue all you want. The referee isn't going back on the decision. You just got to keep going. I understand you're pissed, you're upset, blah, blah, blah. You got to keep going. So, like I said, it's all about balance. And so, while this is happening, right, while this HR person's talking to me, you get that feeling in your stomach. And I always told Isha this. And a lot of friends where it's just like, I know that this event is going to occur. Eventually, in my lifetime here in this role, I know that this event is going to occur. Whether it's this spring, this fall, next spring, next fall, it is coming. And it's so hard to actually no. It is you'd be almost silly. You'd be almost silly to believe that it may not happen, right? If everyone else around you, if you're in a company that's having layoffs ever so frequently, and part of your job is to view, how much your company did last week. How much did they do over the last month? How much did they do over the last season? What have the trends been? And you don't see anything positive, more than likely, things are just going to continue on as is. AKA, there will be more layoffs in the future. There have been plenty of doomsdays at this company, plenty of doomsdays. And I have honestly been like, damn, survived that one. Whew. And then you hear about the people they did lay off. Brother. When I tell you, we had someone at the company that won the NMG Best Award. That's like if you were still in high school and people voted you top cardinal, top student of the year type thing. The NMG Best Award. Probably 7 people in the whole company get this. And this one person won this award. That means, people voted on you. Oh, wow, this person shows exemplary leadership. They kill it at everything they do, blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh, they're the best. 3 months after that, she got laid off. 3 months after that. Can I lean back? Oh, that's better. She got laid off. And so, in addition to that, the guy that hired me originally, who everyone looked to towards oh, this dude knows what he's talking about. He may be a little bit of a dick, but man, he knows what he's talking about. He got laid off too. So you're not safe. You're not safe. And here's the funny part. This is how I knew that I wasn't fully gutted by this. I'm not gonna, lie and say it didn't get a portion of me. But while the HR person's talking, here's what was unfortunate. The Mavs finals tickets went on sale. So this was before game 1, before game 2, and we're going to get to that. But the Mavs tickets had went on sale exactly at 8 a.m. So while this HR lady's talking about, hey, you know what, this is how your, enrollments are going to roll over. This is the type of severance you're going to receive. Literally, I'm staring at the screen and I'm just thinking, oh, wow, section 314 might be nice. Section 212 is also good for that price. What should I do? And that's the irony of it, where it's just like, I knew this event was coming. People kind of ask me that as I've been telling more people have been like, damn, did you see this coming? Did you see this coming? And it's just like, of course I did. And it's going to happen, right? Like I said, it's silly to think it's not going to happen, but it's just a matter of, I know when it does happen, it will feel like a punch in the gut. And it did. I'm not even going to try to front, act like some tough dude. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, And so I spent that entire day just reflecting on it. The entire day. We eventually, so this is where things get a little crazy. So let me slow down here. Go back a little. It's all about balance. Thursday night, Mavs win. I think it's game 5 in Minnesota. And I literally posted a TikTok. Maybe I can attach it here, where I was just like, wow, is this what happiness feels like? I took a quote from The Pursuit of Happiness. And I was just like, oh my gosh, the Dallas Mavericks are going to the finals. I know that it was already, like a high percentage chance because they were up 3-0. But once it's happening, it's like, wow, this is actually going to happen. And I'm in the space of my life where I can now afford to go to these games, right? In 2011, I was in high school. I didn't know how to go to games. I had never gone to a basketball game, if maybe one. I'd never gone to concerts. I didn't know the way to get to these things. I didn't know about Ticketmaster. I didn't know about no StubHub. I don't even think those things were around. I didn't know anything about the box office. There was no routine of me asking my parents to go to certain games. That just wasn't part of me coming up. And so then that Thursday night, boy, I'm joyous. Oh my gosh, these tickets are going to be on sale. And then things balance out. Shortly after that call, we actually got some news about a death in the family. Yes, I'm telling you, when it rains, it pours. So immediately after that, we had to book some tickets to Houston that same morning. So at the same time, I'm trying to place my last employee order and we're packing our bags. And just like that, I was on a plane. We got to the airport a little bit early, had a double tequila shot of margarita. And then I was just sitting there. Isha fell asleep, as she does. And I was just sitting there, no headphones, no TV, no magazine, no book, no pillow, eyes just open, staring at the ceiling, staring at the backs of people's heads. Because I was seriously just thinking the whole time, man, you just lost your job. And anytime I would kind of divert from that, like let's say you start thinking about, oh man, I can't wait to, go have this food. Oh, I can't wait to do this, blah, blah, blah. I would remind myself, hey, bro, you just lost your job. And I understand. It is a popular, it is an occurrence that happens more often than not, right? Like this isn't just a rare thing. A lot of people that you may know, anyone listening, anyone watching, a lot of people or maybe a few, you at least know one person, or you've seen something on LinkedIn where you've seen, oh, okay, this person lost their job. Oh, this person's looking for a job and they don't currently have a job. This person's been looking for a job for 4 months, 5 months, 3 months. Everyone knows one of those people. But every time you see it, you think, that shit better not be me. For the life of me, I better not ever see that not hiring. I better not see that looking. What is that hashtag on LinkedIn? Man, I'm fucking up this bit. Looking for work. You know what I'm talking about. That hashtag that goes on your name on LinkedIn. You don't want that shit attached to you. And then it finally happens and you're just like, damn, bro. Like it got me. And like I said, it was bound to happen, right? It was bound to happen. It's like going out in public and just thinking, I'm never going to get sick. It's not like, oh, because I have been out 100 times and I never gotten sick, therefore I'll never get sick. It's just a matter of maybe I'll get sick on the 120th time, 150th time. Maybe it's the 1,000th time I go out, I'll get sick. And that's just how it works. Now, obviously, I told y'all this. From episode 1, I said, more than likely this is going to happen. I've known this since last August. A couple doomsday passed, I survived, and then eventually my time came. How do I feel about it now? I'm recording this almost 8, 9, 10 days after that. It's a little strange. One, hiring back, trying to get a job in this environment now is a little weird. I understand people say, oh, a bunch of places are hiring, but at the same time, a bunch of people are looking. So anytime you find some job description on LinkedIn, it'll show you how many people have applied. It'll show you how many people have a master's and this and that. And you're just like, damn, bro, I don't have that qualification. I don't have that 10 years for that. How the hell did I just have this last role? And so I do wonder if like the floor to some of these jobs are getting higher. At the same time, I understand all this shit just works on, and this is just jobs, life, everything. Honestly, it comes down to who you know. I am more than confident that I will now find a job via LinkedIn. I am more confident that I will find a job via a friend, an ex coworker. It comes down to who you know. So then we're in Houston, right? So then we're in Houston and we're with my future in laws. And it's like, there's no point in hiding the story, you know? You don't want the focus to be on you, but at the same time, you don't need it coming out at one person at a time, coming out to one person at a time. So you just kind of say it, make light of it. And then I think what happens is if you make light of it enough, people feel more welcome to either joke about it. It gets to that joke phase. And we've talked about this before where all problems start as a problem. And either based on the complexity or depth of it, it gets to a joke phase eventually. Once that problem's at the joke phase, people feel more comfortable talking about it. Hopefully, you personally have healed from whatever this was. So, at my future in law's house, yes, it was kind of strange, right? It was weird to say, hey, the guy that your daughter's marrying just lost his job. It's a little weird. But at the same time, I think what helped personally was just having the confidence of not being scared about it, right? There is no being frantic about it, especially when you get a certain severance package. I am more than lucky that I got something like I did and that I don't have any kids. I don't have anything that drastic going on in my life. Obviously, I have to pay LA rent. That'll be tough, but at the same time, blessed nonetheless. I keep telling y'all, I try not to complain too much. People think I'm a grumpy person. No, I'm quite optimistic. I just don't feel like some of these problems in life are that crazy, right? Getting laid off, like I said, it's something that you see left and right. And when it happens to you, either one, you can go into a corner, which I've done a couple times. I've gone to a corner and just been like, God damn, God damn, God damn, God damn. I need to just go have a drink. And then there's other times where you just view it like, yo, they're giving me 3 months to find a new job. And at the same time, I've been saying at the same time a bunch, bro. I really got to start recording more frequently. Jesus. At the same time, two bad bitches at the same. What song was that? Oh, okay. Focus. So what I was saying is that in this job, I was just deteriorating. From after 3 months I was there, I told y'all I was there throughout COVID when the company went through bankruptcy, hiring a bunch of people, firing a bunch of people. I was in the same role. I had the same responsibilities around the same people, and nothing was happening. And if you're not growing, you are dying. I understand people say you can stay stagnant. That's the equivalent almost. I fully support someone doing a 9 to 5 job. Let's say you're working at the steel mill, you're working on the farm. I fully support the 9 to 5 and just coming back and having a quick stagnant like that. But when you're in the world of tech, you are literally either growing, you're either taking on more responsibilities, getting better at your skills, getting faster at your skills, or you are dying. And I was 100% dying. I've been going on 20 minutes about this, so I'm going to try to wrap this up a little fast, where the question becomes, now what? Do you try to find a new job and get right back into the workplace? Do you take some time off and either start going straight full-time entertainer? Because that's what I effectively wanted, right? I always felt it in the air, especially leading up to that last Friday when it happened. I felt it in the air where it's just like, you know what? People are treating me differently. People are talking to me a little bit differently. Things aren't moving the same. And when you feel something like that, you know something's about to happen. So sure enough, it did. But leading up to that, I wanted to quit. But why quit when you can get a severance out of it? So then it happens. And that's when the safety net kind of goes away, right? You can get very stagnant in your day to day when you know a paycheck's coming in. You're not going to pursue things that you really want to do. You're not going to pursue, let's say, any type of art form. You're not going to pursue, let's say, your trying to buy a business on the side. A lot of things become very stagnant. The one thing people probably do is buy a car, buy a house, and that'll be their biggest investment while they have a 9 to 5 job. And as someone that wants to pursue entertainment at a much, much higher rate, this would be the perfect opportunity. So I'm not going to tell y'all what I'm trying to do yet because honestly, I don't even know. I'm literally at home in Irving right now, so I can save a couple dollars. And at the same time, bro, should I just label this crap? And coincidentally, the Dallas Mavericks are in the finals. So I wanted to be in Dallas originally to watch the games, be part of the environment. I told y'all I don't want to watch it alone in LA, blah, blah, blah. So I really don't know what's next. But when I know, I'm telling y'all, I'll tell y'all. It's all about balance, man. I had an article here that had something about layoffs, but let's move on to the next story, which is this new male birth control. Male birth control gel is safe and effective. New trial findings show. After decades of attempts to develop new birth control medications for men, scientists are more hopeful than ever. With new abortion restrictions, demand is growing, experts say. Now, I looked into this because at first I saw the Instagram post and, friends were sending it around. I'm part of a couple group chats that are majority Isha and her friends. So it's sometimes fun. It's sometimes fun to just hear the other perspectives. You have your guy group chats where you say stupid shit. And then you have group chats with women that kind of open your eyes to some stuff, but also you kind of want to open their eyes to some stuff. It's a good balance. You need this in the world. So sure enough, I saw the article where it's like there's this new gel that will be the form of male contraceptive that they'll rub on their shoulders, and effectively it'll reduce the amount of sperm a male produces to in hand avoid getting a female pregnant. Should I say male? I said male, right? So I can say female. No one get offended at that, please. Surveys have found that men are willing to use new types of birth control medication. This is true. Personally, I know we're getting a little, personal right now. I have not used any type of gel like this. Would I be open to it? Yes, is my politically correct answer. I think it would just have to be studied a bit more. Like I don't want Nutrafol to start sending me samples of this shit because I was looking at some of the data behind it and honestly a lot of the articles where this isn't where it's supposed to get yet. And one reason for that is because of how expensive testing is in these trials. You literally have men here, and this is an agreement you go into with your partner where it's like, hey, we're going to be part of this trial. We're open to the fact that this may not work, right? We are going to be having sex with the risk of possibly getting pregnant. Even though the person is using the gel on their shoulders and it should lead to this outcome, there is still a high likelihood. So it says here, if the sperm count remains low, the chances of pregnancy are slim. So the fact that it says if is the big kind of red flag here. I don't think this is at where it's supposed to be. Even this quote from Daniel Johnston, chief of National Institute, an important person. We've been pushing for hormonal male contraceptive for 50 years, but there isn't enough money available to really drive something through a very large phase 3 trial. Now, look, I'm all about the jokes, right? I'm all about the jokes. This is pretty funny. The fact that it's a gel. I saw that, like I said, being in a group chat with some women kind of opens your eyes to some stuff. And man, the amount of rage, it's just like, I didn't do it, so please stop getting mad at me. But I understand the anger at the world where it's just like the female birth control methods are hell. It's not some gel on the shoulder. And now all the jokes that were popping up on Instagram where it's like, people are going to be actually a friend of mine, Jayshree, she made a joke where it's just like, yeah, when I meet a new dude, I'm going to be secretly giving him shoulder massages. He's going to be like, damn, why does she like giving shoulder massages so much? And it's a funny thing because it's like, what? As someone that doesn't know science that well, a gel on the shoulders? How is that supposed to do that? Now, I understand I'm dumb. I understand I don't know anything about the sciences, but it's just a weird thing. And I thought it'd be kind of interesting to bring up in the podcast because I'm all for it, right? I'm all for it, especially for a lot of motherfuckers in college and younger that are getting active. Obviously, when you get to the age of 25 plus, you kind of you're getting rid of the gel. You're getting rid of the gel. Hopefully, you're getting rid of the gel. But yeah, I'm all for it. Hopefully, they can get enough money for like the next phase 3 trial stuff. Uh, but I ain't using it. It's all about balance, man. It's all about balance. I told y'all. I was happy. I was so happy when the Mavs, when I finally realized it's happening. Then the job thing happens, the other thing the death happens, and then next I'm back in Irving. And I told y'all there was a small claims out for me. And I come home to find out I'm getting sued. If I'm I wish I was lying to y'all. I wish I was lying to y'all. Where when it rains, it really does pour. I'm quite literally getting sued by my neighbor. I don't want to go into too many details in case I'm breaking some type of code. I don't know the law that well, so that's why I'm kind of just teetering on how much I can give y'all. Maybe after all this thing clears, I can bring it up and give you some more details. But I'm literally getting sued by my neighbor in a small claims court, which is just more to deal with. You're trying to fix up the resume and do all this stuff at the same time. You're back home. Everyone's kind of paying for you because they're just looking at you a little side-eyed. And it's like, damn, bro, like the disrespect is crazy, but also thank you. So once all that settles, I'll kind of hopefully I'll talk about it. The balance is crazy though. Would I trade all of this to have the Mavs not in the finals? And I think the answer might be yes. I know it sounds a little messed up, but like look at what's happening. The Mavs are literally down 0-2. And I didn't want to talk about this so fast, but man, I feel like I had to. What is happening? Luka's doing his thing. Obviously, Kyrie's struggling. I'm at the point, and this is what sucks. We're at the beginning, you start with delusion. Start with delusion and a lot of confidence. Mavs in 5. Mavs in 5. They got this. Oh, the East had a cakewalk. They ain't got it. Blah, blah, blah. But I did mention that the team that has 67 wins might be kind of good. And sure enough, they got Porzingis back. And that was the biggest difference maker. And sure, he can come in the game, shoot it, defend. Everything that the Mavs just don't really have an answer for. We don't have anyone that's 7-2 on our team. I loved Porzingis when he was on the Mavs. I always told people, you can't teach height. You can't teach height. You can't teach height. So having someone tall, and he was pretty good in New York. The issue is he's just injury prone. So I start with delusion. I start with confidence. After game 1, I had a feeling where it's just like, damn, this Boston team is good. I knew they were good, but like, they're solid. There's nothing you can do to them. They've lost the least amount of games for probably a reason. And they're here for a reason. The Mavs are also here for a reason, but a sequence of events also. Then game 2 happens. And I went back to Hero in Victory Plaza because I was like, yes, I'm back in Dallas. This is what I came here for. And then they lose that one too. Luka has a 30-point triple-double. Kyrie still has kind of an underwhelming performance. But Boston just does what they do. Their star player, right? Their star player, the person I called a superstar in Jason Tatum, doesn't even have to play that well. Because that team is so stacked and so goddamn well-oiled, they can just get away with 60% from their best player. Then you have all these other people that are just absolutely killing it. Maybe that's why you're that good. So where am I at now? I'm trying to figure out if I want to go to game 3 or game 4. The issue is I cannot stand to watch them get swept. Also, should I just go back to LA? See, there's a lot of things in my head right now. And so I apologize for the lack of consistency in the podcast. Also, the lack of consistency in probably topics and subjects. Can we win game 3? Can we win game 4? Or is it just one of those lopsided things where we're watching the Cavs LeBron versus the 08 Celtics, where the 1 through 5 position is pretty solid. The difference is in that '08 Celtics, they didn't have a great 5. When you look at Boston, they have a solid 1 through 5 against Luka. And we wanted to say Luka and Kyrie, but where's Kyrie? Now, I love Kyrie. I just think there's almost a factor of trying to show that the Boston return isn't affecting him too much. So you're overcompensating. And when you overcompensate, let's say you're jumping a little bit higher on your jump shots, you're going for layups you normally wouldn't go to, you're getting a little more tunnel vision. And then this is the result. I don't know, man. What a depressing podcast, right? I wish I had more happy topics for y'all. And the last thing I'll talk about as I've been speeding through this second half is Bad Boys 4. I got my special little poster here that I had made a while ago. I think I just found it on Etsy, but I thought it would be kind of fitting to have back because Bad Boys 4 released this past Friday in theaters, and it's actually getting reviewed pretty decently. Normally, if you were to tell me Bad Boys 4 would make it, I think 3 was already shaky enough. The fact that there was a fourth one, I did not think that it would be doing the numbers that it is. Bad Boys Ride or Die, Sony's legacy sequel, opened with a solid $56 million domestically and $104.6 million globally, performing well against its $100 million budget. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence still draw crowds despite past controversies. Now, first of all, past controversies, we already know what we're talking about, right? The Will Smith slap. And I told y'all this, where it's just like, if you give people enough time, they won't care, right? They'll remember. They'll fully remember what happened, but they won't care. You have to care at the beginning, right? Oh my gosh, can you believe he slapped Chris Rock? He was so wrong. Jada should not have let him do that. Blah, blah, blah. He literally assaulted someone and then he won an award. How horrible of him. And you have to be like, yeah, that sucks, man. Wow, poor Chris Rock. Yeah, gosh, he's still the greatest ever, man. Will Smith should really, pay for what he did. At the beginning, you have to. And then, fuck it. Will Smith was my favorite dude growing up. I mimicked a lot of my mannerisms after him, the way I would speak, all this stuff, mainly watching Fresh Prince, but also from the movies, whether it was, the early Bad Boys, the early Men in Black. He was that dude where every summer you wouldn't see him for like 6 months, and then you would get maybe 2 to 3 movies that he was in. All hits. All hits. So when he's coming out with the movie, it's hard to be like, no, I don't want that anymore because you slapped Chris Rock. I don't care. Chris Rock came out with his special, right? He got his fame. He got a little jolt back into the spotlight. Obviously, he didn't need it. I'm not saying that. But this is what Will Smith does. And obviously, Martin Lawrence and him are like one of the best comedy duos. And in my group chat, we had kind of a discussion. The best comedy duos in the game. Here are my rankings. Number 1, the Rush Hour duo. Number 2, Bad Boys. 3, Jump Street. 4, Doom. And then 5, what did I have? Ride Along. Kevin Hart and Ice Cube. Ride Along. And that was it. I think I'm probably forgetting some duos. But as far as the duo comedy buddy cop movie, Bad Boys is number 2. And I think we're getting a 4th Rush Hour, so that'll be surprising to see. But for Bad Boys 4 to do good, and both of these guys are chasing maybe 50, 60. I really don't know how old they are. But I'm excited to see it. I really I want to go see that and this Lord of the Rings trilogy that's been re-released. Other than that, I have not been watching much. I watched a couple of crappy things on Netflix. Obviously, with some more time now, I'll be watching a handful of more things. I think I'm going to have maybe a separate video of just doing, like the entertainment piece of it. But like I said, I don't know I don't know what the future is. I understand the uncertainty may not be the most attractive, but it is what it is right now. With that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining me. Thank you for listening. For those people that texted me like, "Oh, so sorry you lost your job," don't worry. It's for the better. Please don't text me. Please don't comment any sad stuff. Like, I just keep it moving. It's all about balance. With that all being said, thank you guys again, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.